should be in my box right there.
Does that come with what I was gonna ask?
It doesn't, it's an accessory.
Oh, it is.
It's an accessory, yeah. It should have some cables back there.
And then do you have to set up the same unit, the same way? Because this would be the master and then the slave, right?
Correct.
So would you have to set up this unit additional to that one, or will it just kind of link through that?
Hey, Julio, check my back table, the one in the back by the lab, where you're at, please.
Yes, good question.
Yeah.
Or if not, it might be hanging right there by the side of behind the furnace.
Okay.
I have a bunch of cables.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's,
for units, you can mix and match.
okay. So meaning,
Like, it could be a NPE-240 and an NPE-180 and a
No.
210.
No, but the settings for it, they have to be the same.
like that.
Mine's a slave.
So this would be the master. As soon as I connect that cord into the slave, it will basically operate the same off of this
No,
one.
here's the way it works, man. So when you have a master, a slave, or a primary, secondary, however politically correct we want to be here, is say you have those 3 units, right? Okay? I'm gonna show it on the screen. So those 3 units, okay, require that communication cable Julio has, right? One cable can do 2 units. After that, you need a cable per system. Now, bring that cable up, Julio, and I'll show you guys how to wire this. It's a series of daisy chaining cables together. You're gonna notice, okay? You're gonna notice right here, I'll start with a single male. This cable's gonna have a single male on one end, and on the opposite side, it's gonna have a male and a female, okay? Right? A single male on one end, a male and a female. The female's for you to be able to hook up and daisy chain that cable to the next unit. You start on whatever unit you want, and you're gonna connect that cable right below that 12-pin black ribbon connector, like so. Okay? Just like that, okay? You run that cable through that same rubber grommet that's here on the inside of the cabinet, so it looks nice and tight. You guys can have, as loose as you want, or whatever. You run that cable to the next unit, you run it through the same hole, and then you connect that single male right here to that next unit, and that female is to adapt it to a third cable, right? So if you have 2 units, one single cable will do, because you're not gonna need a female for the third unit, right? So after that, for every additional unit, you're gonna need a cable, right? Now, in the operation for those 3 systems, the way they work on what's called a lead-lag system. One, it's always 50% of the amount of units are gonna be ready to go every time there's a call for hot water. So if you have 4 units, 2 out of those 4 units have that white water adjustment valve open. So that when water flows, it'll flow through both of them. But even though, those 2 units have the valves open, they're gonna alternate amongst those 4 systems. Say we have 4, not because it's the master, does it mean that master is gonna fire up every single time there's a call for hot water. These units are gonna look to operate and have same even wear and tear and operational hours amongst the lifespan of the unit. The way they work is 2 of them are ready to go. It can be any of the 2 and 4. But when that second unit gets to 80% of its capacity, it sends a signal from the unit through this cable to open up the water adjustment valve on that next unit. Now that third unit opens up. Now we have water flowing through 3. When that third one gets to 80% of its capacity, it'll send a signal to the 4th one, and now you have water flowing through 4 units.
That's pretty fucking cool.
So the way, and that's gonna go back and forth. The master is only means of communication. Now, if that master takes a shit, meaning it goes bad, there's an error code or something, it will release itself from that cascaded system, and it will assign the next one as the main system. It will lock itself out, meaning it'll shut the water off to that unit via the valve. It'll have an error code, but you'll still have hot water being produced for the building or house. It's called redundancy. Right? So again, that's how it works, man. And to get into that menu, you hit the end of the back button.
Yes.
Okay? You go to Cascade Status and Setup. Under Cascade Status and Setup, you go to number 3, Cascade System Settings, and it says Start. Once you hit Start, now addressing, if you want to finish allocating, press OK. If this cable would be hooked up with any of those other units and they would be on, that unit would say, please press and hold OK for 3 seconds to allocate system. And you'll press and hold it, you follow the instructions on your front panel, and it'll allocate it. It'll ID that unit number 1. You have another one, you do the same thing, it'll ID it number 2.
Pretty much walking through it.
And then when you're done, you come back, you press OK, And then this one would have an M on the top, which is your main or your master unit. And then the other ones will be S1, S2, S3. You know what I mean? And now, again, they're gonna alternate. They're always gonna look to alternate. Now, that same, percentage of operation is right here, status information, okay? Operating state, heat capacity is your second option. So right here, the unit's telling you what percentage is operating. Number 2 is operating, heat capacity. So say this unit's at 50% capacity and it's a 200,000 BTU unit, you're consuming 100,000 BTUs. So once that number gets to above 80, that's when that signal's been sent out.
Looks at that.
Exactly.
And,